no living British citizen was part of the slave trade, you know, and we're not responsible, any of us living today, for the crimes of dead slave traders. So why are we being asked to apologise, to pay reparations? Writing someone a cheque is not going to undo what someone feels about their history.
What if we're still profiting from it?
But we all profit. That people all over the world are living a life that they may not have led if slaves hadn't been used. We know that.
Yasmin disagrees.
Every building built by slaves.
This from someone. Okay, you live in a country. No, listen. Can I speak? You live in a country which, after the First World War, Germany was absolutely forced to pay reparations, and they're still paying off. Oh, the Brits don't worry about that. They've never said, oh, well, living young Germans had nothing to do with that. Japan was made to pay huge reparation bills. Somehow Britain, when called upon to at least make a gesture, the royals actually benefited hugely. So did Tate and Lyle. So I find it so extraordinary that's when you disengage.
But they lost a war, Japan and Germany.
Yeah, yes, reparations was insisted on. Nobody said, OK, we're going to forget this. It happened. It's history. When it suits us, right? And, you know, I think Jamaica, I have a lot of Jamaican friends, they wouldn't have been this exercised because they have been fond of the royals without the Windrush scandal. That really shocked them.
Something odd is happening with this trip. I don't quite get it. I can't work out. Firstly, this idea that a letter has been written by 100 Jamaican leaders, that sounds like a lot of people, but then 100 leaders? And then the other thing is, I thought William and Kate had people saying, look, watch, this is going to be a tricky one. But obviously nobody said that to them. So they keep going to places where they're told they're not welcome.
Well, I think Barbados started something by declaring itself a republic and dissociating from that. So, but I think the Windrush scandal has had a real impact.
But, you know,
this
now...
is bobsleighing, by the way.
It seems crazy to me that we're making moral judgments today in the 21st century about what happened 200 years. You know, we had Tony Blair apologising for the potato famine, saying, what was he said? He was expressed his sorrow and regret for something that happened a century before he was born.
But I think that's...
It's nonsense. It's empty gesture politics.
Carol, that's decency.
It's
that's
not.
Absolutely decency.
No, it isn't. It's empty gesture. It's
Do
words.
you know that the effects of slavery are still playing out among Black Americans and in the Caribbean? It isn't over for them.
So you think? How do you think writing a cheque is
extraordinary?
How is writing a cheque going to solve their problem?
Oh, I think
what they might feel in the head.
A little bit.
How? Tell me how. Explain how.
It is one of the poorest countries in the world.
So you think that never mind, because it's one of the poorest countries. How is it going to help what they feel about slavery? How is it going to change what they feel?
They will feel it has been acknowledged.
That's what.
But you can't just. You
don't acknowledge things with money.
I'm sorry.
Show you care.
I'm sorry. You can't just dismiss a history because it doesn't agree with you.
You know, I'm pretty sure that the next generation, our descendants, are going to talk about us in the way we're now talking about what happened 200 years ago. You know, are they going to talk about? Are they going to criticise us for burning fossil fuels? Are they going to criticise us for letting kids have sex changes and start taking hormones aged 14?
Was it?
So we're going. Every age has wrongdoing.
My question was just that was it that long ago? And here's why I asked that. I was born in 1965. Lincoln was shot in 1865. So only 100 years before I was born. He's the guy who said, we're not having slavery in the state. It doesn't seem, suddenly to me now, it doesn't seem that long ago.
But let's just get over this myth. There were people in this country, women in particular, who, while the slave trade was going on, absolutely opposed it on moral grounds. The Quakers in America and here.
But we got out ahead of
sensibility.
But that's the point.
They knew.
But we got out ahead of the States, didn't we, on some of this stuff?
You had the abolition with William, but actually, by that time, a lot of women weren't buying sugar because they thought, and what's his name, the potter, the famous potter,
Woodward. Well, hang on, Stoke. Yeah. Is it Wedgwood?
They made these beautiful plaques of slaves looking up and messages saying this is wrong.
Okay.
They knew.
All right. So it's still very current for some.